manu yo. Kaikene Fred Wanko Ezudo Ezinwafosi Ajalebia Publisher African Lifestyle Magazine Chicago Nwafo ndị Chicago Jemba Onye Chukwu goziri Amano kpara nwe ihe ọ ga-eme Yola no let me chidi mube amara yere wa adia wa mwe arabazo chidi hey
Hello everybody, once again this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on LNTV, and as usual I like to say good morning, good afternoon and good evening to you depending on where you are around the world. Today I want to think outside the box, but I also want to bring something that a few Nigerians may know, but quite a few don't quite know how powerful some of Nigeria's women are because of our culture and our traditions that kind of makes women want to act subservient to men. In this case, very powerful, very influential, very respectable, very clean earning women that only act subservient because they want to respect tradition. And that tradition is something I think as 2027 draws near, Nigerians need to start challenging. We need to respect our cultures and our traditions to the extent that our elders and our men respect those things. And when they don't, we need to call them out. That's by the way. Today I bring you the 10 most influential and richest Nigerian wives. I say this because as we approach 2027, Nigerians need to think outside the box. The most corrupt people in Nigeria are Nigeria's men. When Nigerian women run institutions, any kind of organization that many of these women run, they run it with integrity. And today I bring you the most powerful, most financially influential, richest Nigerian wives. For what they do behind the scenes are things we should all be very, very proud of.
You think Nigeria's billionaires and politicians hold all the power? Think again. Nigeria's wealth isn't just in oil or tech. It's in the hands of powerful black women who built empires behind the scenes and now control entire industries without ever stepping into the spotlight. Today, we reveal the richest black wives and women in Nigeria and how they control the nation's power, wealth, and influence from behind closed doors. Let's get into it. Number 10. Stella Okoli. Stella Okoli's story is unlike anyone on this list. She was born in 1994, though her family is originally Igbo. She schooled in different states in the country, then flew off to the UK and earned her Bachelor of Pharmacy from Bradford University in 1969. That was followed by a Master's in Biopharmaceutics from University of London, Chelsea College in 1971. After school, she went further by sharpening her skills in the field. She worked at Middlesex Hospital, Boots Chemists, and Pharmadeco. Then, in January 1977, she opened a small chemist shop in Lagos. This opened her eyes to a lot of loopholes in the healthcare system, and she realized importing drugs wasn't just inefficient, it was almost like importing poverty. So instead, she pivoted to local manufacturing. Stella Okoli took a loan from First Bank, used her father's house as collateral, and launched Emzor Pharmaceuticals in 1984. They immediately began to produce Emzor paracetamol and other locally made everyday meds. Now, Emzor is one of Nigeria's most respected indigenous pharmaceutical producers. Over 20 products and offices in Mali, Liberia, Ghana, Sierra Leone, even India, plus multiple factories and warehouses and operations in 25 countries across Africa. She even served on the board of GT Bank as a non-executive director from 2010 to 2014. And of course, she has been showered with honors. Member and Officer of the Order of the Niger, honorary doctorate from countless universities, This Day Women of Distinction, Silverbird Lifetime Achievement, Sun's Business Person of the Year, and many more. As per wealth, she's worth over $200 million, and as a firm, Emzor estimated as a business empire worth over $80 million. Meanwhile, this next woman has been successful in every industry possible. Number 9. Daisy Danjuma. No one in the country has made law, politics, business, and philanthropy work like Daisy Danjuma. Born on August 6, 1952 in Benin City, Daisy earned her law degree from Ahmadu Bello University in 1976 and was called to the bar the next year. She kicked off her career as a state counsel in Lagos, then moved on to roles like executive assistant at NAL Merchant Bank and later company secretary, then legal advisor at NTA. By the year 2003, Daisy decided to go into politics. She ran for and won a senatorial seat, and she became one of the few women to work her way into a male-dominated Senate. In the Senate, she chaired the Women Affairs and Youth Development Committee and also led the Women and Children's Rights Committee of the ECOWAS Parliament. She even served on committees for health, education, finance, and land transport. And if there's one thing that people have noted about her, it's that despite her elite status, she remains kind, approachable, and humble, always lifting people up rather than overshadowing them. After politics, Daisy once again shifted gears and went into business. She became vice chair of South Atlantic Petroleum, the company founded by her husband, General T.Y. Danjuma. She's also the chairperson of May and Baker Nigeria PLC, a major pharmaceutical player, and co-leads many other big boards and foundations. As for the next woman on this list, her wealth comes from unconventional means.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a favor. 99% of you watch our videos without subscribing or sharing. Before we continue, could you take a little time out and like the video and subscribe to our video? It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us grow. It's an appeal I'm making to you. Thank you very much. Now back to the video.
Number 8. Mo Abudu. Let's talk about Mo Abudu, who is fondly called Africa's Oprah. Not every powerful woman in Nigeria operates from the political sector. People like Mo run things from the entertainment and business sector.
Because you trailblaze and then someone else takes the glory sometimes, right?
Yeah.
How does
one balance that? That's an interesting question. And also,
contrary to public perception, she started rather humbly. She worked in recruitment in the UK in the late 1980s before returning to Nigeria in 1993. There, she led the HR and training department at ExxonMobil, and from that corporate foundation, she launched Vic Lawrence and Associates. But the real level up came when she decided to tell African stories her way. She went on to create Moments with Mo, Africa's first syndicated daily talk show, and The Debaters. These planted her firmly in the media space and evolved into her founding Ebony Life TV in 2013, a lifestyle network that now airs across Africa, the UK, and the Caribbean.
It's been really inspiring and encouraging to see so many different women together who are all doing different things, but the common purpose is that we just want to add value to whatever it is that we're doing.
She also founded Ebony Life Media that now covers Ebony Life Films, Creative Academy, and Ebony Life Place, a luxury entertainment resort. She's the one behind big movie hits like The Wedding Party, Ilo Touré, and even the Netflix hit Blood Sisters. Now she's worth millions and millions of dollars, and even beyond her wealth, her accolades speak volumes. She's been named one of the 25 most powerful women in global TV. Forbes Africa named her the first African woman to own a Pan-Africa TV channel, and she chaired the International Emmy Awards in 2019. Up next, we have a Nigerian wife who is a serial record breaker. Number 7. Ibukun Awosika. She started out with a degree in chemistry and ended up making an entrepreneurial impact in Nigeria. Ibukun Awosika was born on the 24th of December in Ibadan and studied chemistry at Obafemi Awolowo University.
What we need in terms of challenging all of us, because one thing we're good at as a nation.
From there, she decided to include advanced business qualifications from Lagos Business School, IESE in Barcelona, and even the Global CEO program at Wharton. After serving the country, she tried her hands on many other career paths, accounting, and she even ran a furniture showroom. But turns out she wasn't cut out to work under routine. That's what she often says, and that's exactly how the Chair Center Group was born. In 1989, she launched Quibi's Limited, a furniture company which later turned into the Chair Center Group.
If you get 10,000 young people thinking right, and the 10,000 young people commit,
Awosika has actually done so much more than set up big businesses. She has broken records and set the pace in the industry for other ambitious women like her. In 2015, she became the first female chairman of First Bank of Nigeria, one of the biggest companies in the banking sector. She's also held roles on other big boards: Cadbury Nigeria, Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, ASE, and more. Now, her net worth is believed to be around $18.6 million, all from her furniture empire, board roles, and published books. And even now at age 63, her drive and passion are still alive. And speaking of passion, this ex-First Lady embodies the quality. Number 6. Aisha Buhari. Of course, the former First Lady of Nigeria made the list. Aisha was born on the 17th of February, 1971 in Adamawa State, and she comes from a respected lineage.
We haven't done to their expectation. Only God knows what is in somebody's mind or as a human being.
Her grandfather was Nigeria's first Minister of Defense, and her father was a civil engineer. She herself earned a BA in Public Administration from Ambrose Alley University, then a Master's in International Affairs and Strategic Studies from the Nigerian Defense Academy. On top of that, she trained in beauty therapy and cosmetology in the UK and France and got herself diplomas that would become foundational later. In 2015, when her husband, Muhammadu Buhari, became president, she closed her cosmetology business to step into a new kind of leadership as First Lady. And guess what? She made herself equally useful. Through her, Aisha Buhari Foundation built maternity wards, gave health screenings, scholarships, and vocational training to thousands of people across Nigeria.
Every local government across Nigeria to Abuja to chart a new and positive course for our country.
People still talk about how she turned the role of First Lady on its head. She went from someone who traditionally stayed in the background to a vocal, action-oriented leader. She used her platform to call out injustices, advocate for girls' education, campaign against early marriage, and support vulnerable communities impacted by the Boko Haram terrorists. Today, in the world, she's acknowledged as one of Nigeria's most visible and powerful women. Though her net worth is around $100 million, she doesn't let it drive her. Next is a royal wife who refuses to live in her family's shadows. Number 5. Stella Oduah.
River basins that are outside Southeast, but those that are within Southeast.
Stella Oduah was born as royalty in Anambra State, but she traded her royal lineage for a spot in Nigeria's political and business elite. First, she studied accounting in the United States, returned home, and joined Nigeria's oil giant NNPC. By 1992, she left to launch her own oil and gas enterprise, Sea Petroleum and Gas. But in 2011, politics came calling. President Goodluck Jonathan named her aviation minister, and in no time, she oversaw the refurbishment of 22 airports in the country by pushing their facilities toward global standards.
My dear colleagues, I would like to congratulate the mover of this motion, Mrs. Tinubu.
By the year 2015, she won a Senate seat to represent Anambra North, and she served multiple terms since then. She's been involved in too many industries in the country that she has become a force. Thanks to her oil business, lucrative public roles, and many investments, she's now worth about $300 million. But that's nothing compared to the power and wealth of Remi Tinubu. Number 4. Remi Tinubu. Every Nigerian knows Remi Tinubu is at the helm of affairs, especially because she's the First Lady of the country. But beyond being someone who stood beside her husband, she's always been carving her own path. Remi was born on the 21st of September, 1960, and is the 12th of 13 kids. For her studies, she got her BSc in Education from the University of Ife, the First Lady of Lagos State, from 1999 to 2007. She set up the New Era Foundation for Youth Development, Environmental Health, and Community Service. Then, from 2011 to 2023, she was the senator representing Lagos Central. That was where she made history as one of the few women to win 3 consecutive terms. She used her position to drive constituency grants, youth empowerment schemes, and even sponsored reforms for the Nigerian Postal Service. Induction into the Nigerian Women Hall of Fame for her senatorial feat. Remi had to step into the role of First Lady of the Federal Republic. She's now known as one of the most politically active and visible occupants of that position, because with that role came new initiatives. Her Renewed Hope initiative has already channeled over $20 million to health programs, disaster relief, tuberculosis campaigns, female traders, and more. Her net worth runs into about $500 million. Now, talk about a woman who used to have absolutely nothing to her name. Number 3. Bola Shagaya. The almighty Bola Shagaya is another feminine force who was born in Kwara State back in October 1959. She came from what many would call a modest background. Her dad was a public servant and her mom was a seamstress. She aced her way through school at Queen's School, Ilorin, then went on to study economics at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. After that, she dipped into accountancy studies at Armstrong College in California, but she didn't stay in that sector for long. After a stint in the audit department at the Central Bank of Nigeria, she decided at just 24 to take a big step, and she launched Bolmus International Limited. That business was what brought Konica photographic equipment into Nigeria and West Africa. And once she got the photo business rolling, she just kept going. In 1997, she founded a chain of photo labs called Photo Fair Nigeria, which uses Japanese tech, and today, it has over 30 branches nationwide. Now, Bolmus Group International has stakes in real estate, banking, communications, and more, spread across Nigeria and even into the US and Europe. Now at age 66, she's still consistently ranked among Africa's richest women. However, her exact net worth is $950 million. For our number 2, it's the woman daring enough to take down the government in a legal battle. Number 2. Folorunsho Alakija. Alakija was born on July 15, 1951 in Ikorodu, Lagos. She first kicked off her career as an executive secretary in 1974 at Sijuade Enterprises, then moved into banking. She worked at First National Bank of Chicago and rose up to head corporate affairs at International Merchant Bank in Nigeria. But out of nowhere, her love for fashion just took over. She had to go do design in the UK, then launched Supreme Stitches in 1985. The whole idea was to offer high-end tailoring for Nigeria's elite, including Mariam Babangida, former First Lady. The label eventually evolved into the Rose of Sharon House of Fashion, and she became head honcho of the Fashion Designers Association of Nigeria. After she satisfied her passion and curiosity in the world of fashion, she ventured into oil in the 1990s. By 1993, she secured a 617,000-acre oil prospecting license via her company, FAMFA Oil Limited. She then went into a joint venture with Texaco's Star Deepwater Petroleum, giving them 40% while FAMFA held 60%.
That corruption would have been stamped out, and if it is stamped out, we hope it will be, that Nigeria can move forward in so many areas.
That block turned out to be insanely lucrative, and the government tried to grab half the stake, but she won and regained her full 60% ownership after so many legal battles. Since then, she's become one of Africa's richest women. In 2014, she was found to have assets including real estate worth over $100 million and a private jet valued around $46 million. That makes her Nigeria's second richest woman and one of the richest on the continent. She has also been honored multiple times as one of Forbes' powerful women, to being the first female chancellor of Osun State University in 2016. And the very first on this list is none other than Number 1. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. That's right. The richest and most powerful woman in Nigeria. Ngozi Okonjo will go down in history as the woman who completely turned the debt situation of Nigeria around. She was born in June of 1994 in Delta State, where she grew up in a family that valued the concept of learning and education. She herself went on to study economics at Harvard and got her PhD in regional economics and development from MIT. Right after school, she joined the World Bank in 1982, and over the next 25 years, she climbed the corporate ladder and became managing director of operations. This meant that she would be overseeing an $81 billion portfolio across Africa, South Asia, and beyond. Then Nigeria called, and she answered twice as finance minister between 2003 and 2015. During her first term, she negotiated $18 billion in debt relief from the Paris Club and introduced budgeting systems for transparency and fiscal stability. Then, when she came back in 2011, she launched many youth and women empowerment programs, such as UN, and helped rebalance Nigeria's GDP. But Iweala only proved herself the more. In March 2021, she made history as the first woman and first African to become Director General of the World Trade Organization. And she did everything: global trade reforms, vaccine equity, fairer trading systems, everything. Today, she makes money from public speaking, public service, board roles, and advisory work, which all run into a net worth of about $20 million.
And there you have it. These are the women who run Nigeria behind the scenes. But more importantly, I know that people will watch this and say some of the women on the list, like Buhari's wife or Danjuma's wife or Tinubu's wife, where did they get access to the money? I say that's irrelevant. What I focused on is what they are doing with the money. Every one of these women create jobs in Nigeria, stable jobs. And if you look at the kind of companies they run and organizations they run, you see that they are organizations that add value to a society where many of the citizens have no access to value. And it's on that note that I thought I'll bring this to the public and feature these women and highlight them and give them credit for doing more in a society where corrupt men control. Some of those corrupt men are even their husbands, but the women still see the need to do the right thing. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Wamko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Highland TV. Please take time and subscribe to our show, like the show, leave a comment. Until next time, good night and God bless.
We've undertaken to make a difference. Our foundation is passionate about empowering communities and fostering growth. We are grateful for the opportunity. We invite you to follow us on our social media, Facebook and Instagram at Munacha Charity Support Foundation. You can also reach out to us via these platforms or through email if you have any questions. In the same vein, we'd like to extend our gratitude to all our supporters and partners.
Beji manu yo Memanu ibara Abureje me wane Beja manu Kaikene Fred Wanko Ezudo Ezi mwafosi ajalebia Publisher African Lifestyle Magazine Chicago Wafo ndi Chicago Chiejemba Onya chukwu gozi Amano kpara nwe ihe ọ ga-eme